You know what guilt is? Guilt is, I'm looking at myself and I'm like, Ed, I told you that you're gonna be super healthy. And then you took the other road and you look at yourself again and you be like, I know I said I was gonna be super healthy, but the chicken was calling my name. The Popeyes got my eyes popped. And you're like,
oh, thanks, Bluto.
Ed, you're gonna be healthy for 2020. And you're like, I'm sorry. What did I tell you? I'm sorry. Now, think about your parents. When your parents yelled at you, did you like that? No, you felt bad about it. And guess what the kid does when the parent yell at them? They go do the thing the parent told them not to do. So we do the same thing for ourselves. So if we could eradicate the feeling of guilt by laughing at it, then now we could be, why so serious? What's going on, powerful people? It's the one and only, the holistic motivator here for another one of these growth conversations. Now, this may be a one-way conversation now, but it can be a two-way conversation later. Right now, I'm talking about how to build the momentum for 2020. I've been building incredible momentum. I had a whole revamp of my brand and of myself. Let's think about that. Every year, we get to revamp our lives. We get to revamp our environments, revamp our friends, and we just get to go towards a new destination. Now, the reason why we have time is because without time, we can feel stuck in our day-to-day things. So what time does, it allows you to put a start and beginning on things. Imagine if you were in a vast land and you just have to keep walking forever, like a pit. You keep falling down a black pit. You're just falling forever. There's no levels to stop and think and reflect and get light. Likewise, time serves as both light and structure. Not to the downfall of beings, but to the uprising. So we're not falling down a black pit with no identification on where we're at in life. We're going up towards a new destination. So time are staircases that allows us to put different levels on what we call the experience of life. So every year we should be taking up a step, not falling down the pit. So a lot of times we look at the new year like, okay, I'm finally gonna make a change. But now is the time to start the habits that's going to keep you going. Now, let's say you wanted to go uphill, but you had to get to the top of the hill by January 1st so that you can see clearly in this new horizon. You can see over the horizon, you can see the land that you're going to take control of, like Columbus. Not like indigenous people day, not like Columbus. But you're seeing this new land. But guess what? Why should you wait till January 1st to start the climb? You don't wait till January 1st to start the climb. You got to start climbing right now. So what I've done for December for myself was I said, I'm going to build up momentum for 2020. So I started to adopt new things. I did a revamp. So that's why now is the best time to revamp your life. Just a little bit, because last month I don't think was a great month for me. This month has been awesome. Not because I made $1 million, but because I feel like $1 million. So I'm trying to tell you, now let's find out how we can start to feel like $1 million. So for 2020, we got to start the process now. Today is what, the 19th? So we have about 12 days. 12 days for 12 major goals. If we can set 12 major goals for 12 days, then we could get to where we want to be. For me, for this month, I've just been pitching and not bitching. Now, I don't normally curse, but I've been pitching myself and not bitching about my life. So sometimes you have to use this time to just get ready. Because what I realize is, as a speaker, conferences look for people 3 or 6 months ahead of time. So there was a lot of deadlines I missed because I wasn't thinking about 2020 and 2019. So I missed opportunities that were there, but because I'm like, oh, 2020 is gonna be when I get these engagements, I did not look in September or October. So I missed 6-month opportunities because I didn't do the work 3 months earlier. So what I discovered about getting engagements, but in general achieving your goals, is that you have to plan for the second quarter and the first quarter. And you have to plan for the first quarter and the fourth quarter of the last year. So that is a lesson I learned, and now I can write that in my book. Okay, now I know I need to plan early. You know, you get what I'm saying? We plan early so that we can reap the benefits. One of my favorite motivational speakers of all time, Jim Rohn, says, don't start the week until you have it finished. Don't start the month until you have it finished. Likewise, don't start the year until you have it finished. So what that means is have a definite plan for 2020 before it starts, because if you don't, then how are you gonna build this building? Now, let's say an architect drew out a plan. Why would the architect draw out a plan for a building? There's a simple reason. Because the architect knows that he has to have it finished before the building can be built. You know what I mean? So in your mind, whatever you're trying to do has to be finished before you can start. So don't start the year until you have it finished. Now, the reason why starting early is very important is because habits take time to build. And I believe that one reason why most people fail with their New Year's resolution is because they wait to build habits in the new year rather than building the habits right now. So think about it. If the first month of January rolled around and I have to adopt all of these new habits, maybe stop being negative, maybe be more clean, maybe stop procrastinating, maybe all of those things are actually things to stop. Let's say be more attentive to my time so that I can do the things that will get me to where I want to be. That's a better way of saying stop procrastinating. Let's talk about that too. You know, when we're trying to build habits, we're not focused on destroying habits, but focused on building them. You get what I'm saying? Like, okay, you're trying to build a new building. Are you going to focus on demolition of the old building, or are you going to just draft out the plans for the new building? You're going to draft out the plans for the new building. You're not going to focus on demolishing the old building. That will happen. You know, you're going to get the big metal ball in to break that down anyways. But you're not focused on that. That's just a happening. But you focus on a new building you're going to build, then now you could plan better. Most of us, we don't do that for our lives. Instead of focused on building new habits, like I have some habits I'm trying to build, I'm focused on those. I'm not focused on the ones I'm trying to get rid of, because obviously they've been there. So if I'm focused on that, it's an up-down spiral, what I call guilt trip. So let me calm down a little bit. For the new year, it's important to focus on building rather than destroying. Right? A builder gets more progress than a destroyer. So that's why we start to build the habits that will get us to where we want to be. Now, maybe think about some habits you want to build and write them down on a piece of paper. Not the ones you want to destroy. Now, maybe you can have a 2-column chart with the habits you want to build and the habits you want to destroy. That way you can see both sides of the story. However, you're going to pay more attention to the left side of this 2-column chart and try to make the left side a priority rather than the right side of negativity or of the things you don't want in your life. So the reason why we start early to build momentum for the new year is to build the habits that will get you to where you want to be 12 days ahead. 12 days of achieving goals. When you step into 2020, people will be like, oh, it's a new year. I got New Year resolutions. You'd be like, I already resolved. For 12 years, I was in my resolution already, but you just now getting started. Look at you. You behind, man. I sprinted before the year starts. Now, when you're in a new year, you're seeing over the horizon of all the things that you can have for yourself and your family, rather than trying to climb up the wheel. You're trying to climb up the hill in January. I'm climbing the hill. And then it's January 30th, and you be like, dang, I'm tired as hell. Then you just fall down the hill. Boom, 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 boom. But what if you climb the hill in December, and then you're just on top of the hill, looking over the horizon? So that's all I'm saying. Let's start to look over the horizon before the new year comes, rather than climbing the year in January and then getting tired. Now, January may sound like tax season and money and splurge, but it's also anxious times. Guess what? If I had to make a change in 1 month that everybody is making a change, everybody is showing how like, oh, I got this new thing. I'm changed. And then you're like in the corner and you're like, I'm trying here. I'm trying to make a change and I can't do it, but everybody's succeeding. And you feel bad about yourself because everybody else looks like they're succeeding and you're failing. But what if when January starts, you have a 12-day advantage? Then now you look at them like, oh, they're behind. Now I know I tell you don't compare yourself, but we're going to do it anyways. There is what you should do and what you're really going to do. So let's trick our own selves, our minds. It's not only a supercomputer, but it's a computer that sometimes you have to trick it. What do I mean? There is your conscious and there is your subconscious. So consciously, you know what you want, but subconsciously, it knows what you really want. Or it enforces the things you don't want because you didn't pay attention to the subconscious. Get what I'm saying? So if you spend the time for December to get ready, then when January rolls around, you got momentum going. So that's what I mean by getting the ball rolling rather than waiting for momentum. Now, Ed, this sounds really nice, but how do I actually do this? Here's the thing. The one thing we want to focus on is when you feel guilty, I want you to laugh at your guilt. Because this is what stops most people, is the feeling of guilt. It's really not failure that gets you, it's guilt or indifference to yourself. You know what guilt is? Guilt is, I'm looking at myself and I'm like, Ed, I told you that you're gonna be super healthy. And then you took the other road and you look at yourself again and you be like, I know I said I was gonna be super healthy, but the chicken was calling my name. The Popeyes got my eyes popped. And you're like, but I said you're gonna be healthy for 2020. And you're like, I'm sorry. What did I tell you? I'm sorry. Now, think about your parents. When your parents yelled at you, did you like that? No, you felt bad about it. And guess what the kid does when the parent yell at them? They go do the thing the parent told them not to do. So we do the same thing for ourselves. So if we could eradicate the feeling of guilt by laughing at it, then now we could be, why so serious?